One thing you might encounter when building a fiberglass rod is that the reel seat you have does not fit on the end of the blank. There's a couple of different options for dealing with that. The first would be to bore out the insert of your reel seat. If it's close, that's a fine option. If the butt section is quite large, then the walls of the insert can get brittle and can actually break on you either while you're opening it up or fishing. So there's an easier solution. It's using a stint. A stint, in this case, is nothing more than a solid piece of carbon fiber rod. And what we're going to do is insert it into the back of the blank and epoxy it in place. And that'll give us a smaller diameter with which to mount our reel seat on. So the first thing we need to do is cut the blank. Now you don't have to cut the blank, but if you don't cut it, what you're going to end up with is the butt section of your rod is going to be about 4 inches, or the length of the reel seat, longer than the other sections. So I recommend cutting it. It's easy, it's quick, and you're not going to wreck anything. So to measure your blank, what we want to do is take your reel seat and just hold it up to the back of the blank. And just with your finger kind of mark it. You want the full length of the reel seat. If it has a recessed hood, it's the same as a down-locking seat. You want the full length cut off that blank. Once you have that measurement, just take a piece of tape and mark the blank with it. And now we have a line that we can cut against. So let's go ahead and cut this blank. Okay, now that we have our blank cut, it's time to fit the stint. One thing you're going to notice is when you put the stint in initially, it's very sloppy. It can kind of be leaning to one side. And we want it centered and perfectly straight coming out the back so that your reel seat is not crooked when you go to install it. And the way we do that is pretty simple. We're going to take tape. In this case, it's about a half-inch wide masking tape. And we're going to wrap it around the back of that stint. We're just going to give it a few wraps to start off with. I'm going to take another piece and we're going to leave a little gap, maybe 1/8 of an inch or so, and we're going to do that again. And what we're doing is building up the diameter of that stint to fit the internal diameter of your blank. I'm going to do one more. I like to have 3, again, about 1/8 inch gap between. And just keep wrapping those. When you get all 3 done, go ahead and insert it in. You'll probably notice there's still a bit of slop there. So what we want to do is continue to add more tape to each one of those little tape dams that we've created until you get a decent fit. And the nice thing about using tape and going around the around the stint is that it's going to self-align. It's not going to come out crooked. As you can see, it's starting to get a little bit straighter. Still a little loose. I don't want it tight because we're going to epoxy it in place, but I don't want a lot of slop in there, because if you get slop, then you're probably going to get an angle on that stint, which is going to make your reel seat sit crooked. So keep taping all 3, and when you get close, then you just want to do maybe 1 or 2 wraps until you get the fit you're looking for. That's pretty good. I can pull it out and put it in pretty easy. There's plenty of room for epoxy to flow. Depending on the weight of the rod, it's going to vary between how far you want that stint inserted. This is a 3-weight blank, and so I've got it inserted there, I don't know, maybe 2.5, 3 inches probably. And that leaves me plenty of room to mount my reel seat. Again, for a rod this weight, the stint doesn't even have to travel the full length of the seat. 3/4 of the length will be fine. On a 3-weight rod, the reel seat's really just holding the reel. It's not taking any real weight or abuse. If you get into like a 5-weight, 6, 7, 8, however high you want to go, then I recommend getting a longer stint. You probably want to do at least 3 to 4 inches inside the blank and then go the full length of the reel seat with the stint. But that's it. Once it's fit, cover it with epoxy. Make sure you get the gaps. Insert it into the blank so that the last little tape dam is just inside. Let everything dry, and you're ready to install your reel seat.